Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California. Always good to see you, Congressman. President Trump claims this is a compromise on key parts of the immigration debate. I want to play a little bit more of what he said.
There are two more elements to my plan. Number one is 3 years of legislative relief for 700,000 DACA recipients brought here unlawfully by their parents at a young age many years ago. This extension will give them access to work permits, Social Security numbers, and protection from deportation, most importantly. Secondly, our proposal provides a 3-year extension of temporary protected status, or TPS.
What do you make of that? He says, here's compromise. I'm giving it to you, Democrats.
Thank you, Chris, for your question. The Democrats' position has been straightforward, reasonable, and it has not changed. Mr. President, reopen our government, then negotiate a deal. It's that simple. The president prides himself on being a great negotiator. He doesn't need to shut down the government as a negotiating tactic. He should be able to negotiate with the Democrats fairly and squarely. We can work together on all these issues and move America forward. But we can't negotiate right now while he's holding our government hostage.
Now, after the president spoke, a group of your Republican colleagues in the House got on a call together and told one of our producers here at NBC this. He, meaning Donald Trump, made his willingness and eagerness to get a deal done clear and is waiting for Democrats to finally come to the table and negotiate. The ball is finally in their court. Are you concerned at all, Congressman, that the average American will look at this and say, at least the president has come up with a proposal. The Democrats should take this and at least use it as a starting point?
I'm pleased that the president is making these concessions, but why are we even talking about DACA, which is a legal status issue, when the shutdown is about funding of our government? So we can't really negotiate during a shutdown. We are happy to talk about all of these issues on immigration once the president reopens our government. It's just very simple. All Donald Trump has to do is sign the bipartisan legislation that the House has repeatedly passed to the U.S. Senate, and then we proceed forward and move America forward.
It doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen, though. It sounds like Mitch McConnell is going to put some legislation out there that, as we just heard reporting from you, Michelle Sindor, isn't going to pass. Isn't going to pass the Senate, isn't going to pass the House, and so we could be looking at a longer shutdown yet. Where is this going?
Yeah. Well, so one reason it's not going to pass is the president actually never consulted Democrats with this proposal. In fact, he was negotiating with son-in-law and with Vice President Pence. That's not really a compromise. And then he launches this, on a Saturday. What we really need to do is reopen government. Immigration is a complicated issue. Border security is a complicated issue. We've got to do this right. We can't do it during a shutdown. Let's open government, and then we can talk about this and move America forward.
Why do you think he did this today?
I think he saw that all the public polling showed that Democrats had public sentiment, because American people realized that Donald Trump a few weeks ago said that he would be proud to shut down government, that he owns it, that he's taking the mantle to shut down government. I think he's trying to change that perception, but it's too late. He has to simply reopen government, then we can talk about all these issues. And it's very distracting because last November, Democrats ran and won on talking about health care, reducing health care costs, investing in good jobs and infrastructure, getting rid of corruption. We can't do any of that during a shutdown.
He did seem to be trying to change the language a little bit on the wall, which we know Build That Wall was something that he encouraged as a chant at numerous rallies. He said it doesn't have to be a 2,000-mile concrete structure, steel barriers in high-priority locations. But then he also asked for, $5.7 billion. Is the wall ultimately what is at stake here? Is that what's keeping the government from reopening?
Yeah. So you see the president changing his positions on the wall. First, he talks about a concrete wall across the entire southern border. Then he talks about a steel fence, and then he talks about barriers in some locations. It's because this is a complicated issue, and we shouldn't be negotiating this during a government shutdown. We should reopen government and then talk about all the issues with border security, including how do we use our amazing technology to stop the drugs that are coming through the ports of entry, not really through the areas where a wall would be and would really stop these drugs. Let's talk about increased immigration judges. We can do all of this, but first we have to reopen government.
Congressman Ted Lieu.